What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tyler Hudson Show, a show hosted by me, Tyler Hudson, and a show that's, not necessarily sponsored by LaCroix, but I'm going to do this every episode. I'm going to keep it up. Here is the LaCroix of the episode. Let me pop it off real quick. Ooh. By the way, for anyone out there who's interested, that was Barry LaCroix, and I know what you're thinking. Tyler, I listened to the definitive ranking of LaCroix. No, the definitive ranking of LaCroix episode of your show, and from the sound of it, you sounded like you can't find Barry anywhere in your area. How did you get a hold of Barry LaCroix? Now, to that I would say, do you believe in miracles? Because you would not believe it. I walked into Lucky's Market. Look what was on that display of LaCroix. Big and bright and right there in front of my face, Barry LaCroix. And you would be crazy to think I didn't immediately pick up that case and buy it. I was thrilled. I also bought a nice little case of cran raspberry. But I found Barry, and I'm excited, and I'm thinking it's going to start climbing the charts. I'll let you know if my list changes. I know you're all really worried about that out there. But that's a different story. That's a different podcast, I would say. Today, something a little bit more topical. I don't always like to bring, topical things, things that I wouldn't normally, look at. But it being a big deal and it being a big part of, who we are as a society, in America at least. I'm sure other countries like to watch it too. But and me not being a sports guy, let me just cut to the chase. I'm gonna review the big game. Let's just call it that. The big game. The big bowl game that happens at the end of the NFL season. Now, here's the thing. If you know me at all, you know I don't like sports. Not that I don't like sports. I don't really care to watch them. That's not how I want to spend my free time. If I have free time, I'm probably recording a podcast, playing a video game, maybe a collection of the two, maybe watching a movie, watching another TV show. Sports aren't my go-to thing. So because of that, I don't really, whenever I watch the big, Superb Owl game, I don't actually know what's going on. Now, not to say that I don't understand sports. I understand sports, but I just don't understand really the stakes. I don't understand the teams. I don't get why this team is going to upset that team or who the pick is or why Tom Brady was so great before this. I didn't understand any of that. So I do allow myself a few sports games a year. Normally it consists of U of L basketball and football, some March Madness games because I do enjoy that whole culture behind that and watching those games, and it gets really interesting. And especially as someone who doesn't like to watch sports, making picks that somehow end up being correct in March Madness is really interesting to me. And then also, the big bad bowl game. That happens at the end of the NFL season. I think you all know what I'm referring to, but I digress. I just wanted to, go through my notes that I made during and talk a little bit about it. Hopefully, maybe you're getting this from a lens of someone who doesn't watch sports. I'm sure everyone that knows sports has already been talking about it plenty, and people that don't know sports have just been making good Lady Gaga memes, but that's besides the point. I'll get to that later. I'll just jump right in. First thing I noted, Schuyler Sisters sang an awesome America the Beautiful. They killed it. It was awesome. If you don't know it, they're Schuyler Sisters. I'm alluding to the three actresses that originated the roles of the Peggy, Angelica, and Elizabeth Schuyler on Broadway and Hamilton. And they sang America the Beautiful at the Superman bowl game. And so, yeah, they were awesome. They actually added the word sisterhood in the America the Beautiful. So normally it goes something with brotherhood and brotherhood. And they added and sisterhood, which I thought was really, really cool. People are kind of mad about it. I think it's fine. I'm kind of I mean, not the feminist that you would think of when you think feminism, what the caricature that kind of has turned into. But I would consider myself someone who respects women and wants equal pay for men and women and wants women to be treated the same as men and not be given, less pay or not be given the treatment that they deserve. So in that sense, I would call myself a feminist. I think if you believe in equal pay for everyone, then you're a feminist to some effect. I don't really care. I'm not going to be preaching about that, but that's just my thing. Next, Luke Bryan. He sang the national anthem. Now, I'm not a country guy. I listen to a few country singers. I like my Josh Turner because I can sing along with him. I also enjoy Zac Brown Band because I think it's kind of not necessarily all the way like, country like you would think of, but I do enjoy it. So he did a fine job, whatever. I'm pretty sure he didn't have any backup music. Someone might need to fact check me on that, but I did enjoy him. Coke commercial. I wrote that down. Apparently this is a old Coke commercial that they showed. Basically it is, oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you. They're basically it's showing different, places around the world, different nationalities of people, showing the whole spectrum of people, which I really, really enjoyed. And I forgot they're singing something or they're saying something in the commercial, and they're saying it in different languages and showing the different cultures. I really appreciated and enjoyed that, especially with everything going on as far as refugees right now, and just how things have been happening in politics recently. I really enjoyed that commercial, and it really kind of tugged at the heartstrings. I think some people didn't like it, but everyone always, criticizes commercials, whether they're objectively good or not. So, I don't know. Next on my list, Sprint commercial. It was the one. So Sprint's been fascinating me recently. They got the guy that used to do the, Can You Hear Me Now commercials for Verizon. And that was really, really a cool get. They got the guy that for years everyone would make the joke, can you hear me now when they're on the phone? And so I thought it was really, really cool that they got that, but that's been happening for a while. But the cool thing about this commercial was there was a dad in front of his two kids faking his own death to get out of his contract with another company. And at one point the kid says, "Isn't that illegal?" And underneath the family, if you haven't seen this commercial, go check it out. Underneath the family, it says, "Yes, that's very illegal." And so I just thought that was really funny. It made me laugh. I only have like a few things on here that are actual sports-related things. Patriots score 3 before the half to Falcons 21. This is a big deal later because the Falcons had a gigantic lead early on in the game, which made it seem like it would be a huge upset. From what I heard, it was going to be a big upset. I don't really know much about either team going into this game, so I was very, I didn't really have much stake in it either way. Then I wrote Twitter was funny, and there's other things that it could be funny on or for later on. But one of the things that I noted here was that there was a lot of deflate jokes. So one thing I do know about sports was that I really don't want to speak authoritatively on this, but a few years ago there was something that Tom Brady had to deal with. I think he was suspended or something like that. I don't really know. Basically, there was accusations of him deflating footballs, I guess, I think it was a bowl game. Maybe it was the Big Bad Bowl game that I watched just a few years prior. But there was really funny deflate jokes, meaning like, they were down by so much that people thought that Tom Brady was going to deflate the balls for the second half for this game. Next, so we're on to the halftime show now. And this is the part that I, as someone that doesn't enjoy sports, I do enjoy good singing performances. And so I always look forward to the halftime show, no matter who the artist is. This year it was Lady Gaga. I'm not a Lady Gaga fan per se. I do enjoy what she does because she kind of did a genius thing, I think, in which she started off doing really weird things that people were like, "Oh, that's so strange," but let me buy her music anyway. Stuff that people necessarily wouldn't have been excited about years before. Like, she did the meat stuff, about a lot of big publicity things, and got people interested in her, and made her relevant and a big deal. And then she like kind of changed her sound a little bit, went more classic, which I really enjoyed. She sounded a lot like just a lot of really, really good older artists, and I was really happy to see her do an album with Tony Bennett just to bring back that sound, because that's a special sound that we don't really get a lot of anymore, and it's the kind of music I think that she really, really is excited to do, and so that was really cool. So I enjoy Lady Gaga going into this, but I think she absolutely killed it. At one point she jumped off the top of the stadium, and then I wrote "and kills it" because she did a great performance, but there were some funny things in there. So when she jumps off the stadium, she kind of does this like spider thing on the harness on the way down. And that was really, really funny. And if you haven't seen any of the jokes on Twitter, please go on Twitter. There's a lot of really, really good ones. There's one especially that is comparing her to SpongeBob at the end of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Go online and just look up Lady Gaga halftime SpongeBob, and I'm sure the comparison is on Google or something. Really, really funny. Cool thing about the halftime show, if you saw like those little star-looking things behind her at the very, very beginning when she was singing "This Land Is Your Land," I believe is what she was singing. They formed the American flag and all that kind of stuff. My buddy Jordan, a First Off podcast you should all listen to, said oh wow, it's weird they got all the stars to do that as a joke, obviously. And so he was like, wow, there's so many stars behind her. It's interesting they could change that. But he was joking. Later we found out actually that those stars or what they were trying to pass off as stars were actually Intel drones. I thought that was really, really interesting that they had Intel drones behind her, like in formation. I don't know how they can synchronize those, but that's really, really cool. Oh yeah, next there was an Audi commercial about a little girl that was in like a I don't know what it's called, like a boxcar derby, something like that, downhill derby, where they make their own go-karts or whatever, and then they push them down a hill. I really liked it. It was about a dad saying like, how can I tell my daughter that she doesn't have as much value as a man just inherently. It was really, really interesting, and I thought it was good commentary. I think people will get mad that like companies put their own personal politics into commercials, but I think that's ridiculous to not ask a company or to not ask anyone to like not put their personal politics into stuff. People were calling Audi out and being like, oh, well, there's only 2 women on their like head management team or their head board or whatever, and it's like that's not what we should be focused on. We should be focused on they had a great message and that they are supporting this thing. Whether people believe that they're living that or not, I don't think that that's a problem, because those men still believe that to be true. So anyways, I thought that was a great, great commercial. If you haven't seen the Audi commercial, please look it up. Very inspiring to young women, and I really, really appreciated that. Yeah, so that was really great. Stranger Things Season 2 trailer. This is like probably the most memorable part of the Super Bowl for me, was that I just I freaked out because I see like a old-fashioned, if you're not a Stranger Things fan, I don't think I'm going to spoil anything, but just be wary. If you haven't seen it already, please go check it out. But anyways, you see an Eggo waffle commercial, and it just transitions into like this amazing trailer for Stranger Things Season 2, and it was one of those moments where like this was like my big moment for the Super Bowl, and so I was just like, shh, everyone shut up. Everyone shut up. I'm watching Stranger Things Season 2. Luckily, everyone else in the room was a big fan, so I got to, enjoy that with some good friends. Next up, oh yeah, this was great. So Verizon also had some good commercials along with Sprint this year. I wrote Verizon 50 Shades parodies were funny. Basically, it was, the actress that is on Bob's Burgers. I can't look at her name. Gotta figure her name out. Let me find that real quick. But basically, it was a 50 Shades of Grey parody, which I'm not really a fan of that series in general for numerous just moral reasons, I feel like. And also, I just don't think it's good writing. I haven't seen any of the movies, but I'm just kind of assuming, and I've seen snippets from the book, and it's just not appealing to me at all. But the parodies were really, really funny about, like getting, you get punished or whatever if you get out of your contract with them. And for some reason, this was something that was very appealing to Christian Shaw. That's her name. But she was in the commercials. This was really, really funny. Kind of inappropriate for the Super Bowl. Not really. I mean, the Super Bowl has a history of kind of pushing the boundaries for commercials, and I really think they're a lot of times really funny. But I will say that would be something that if a kid at home was asking a parent, what was that commercial all about? It'd be kind of like, I don't know how to explain that. That would be really weird. So those were really, really funny. And if you haven't seen the Verizon ones, and if you're, a older age, check those out. Those are really, really funny. Then I wrote here, Patriots win, another actual sports thing that happened during this game. I don't know. I think overall as a football game, I enjoyed it. Not knowing much about football, I really, really enjoyed it. It was cool because apparently this is the first time that there's ever been an overtime in the super great end of the year bowl game that the NFL has. Almost slipped up there for a second. So yeah, basically it was a good game. Apparently Tom Brady like kills it as a quarterback, greatest of all time. People have been calling him, which I think if you win 5, you can have one ring for each finger. That's for each finger on your right hand or your left hand, I guess. That's a pretty good accomplishment, and I think even people who aren't big Tom Brady fans can still acknowledge that and are still acknowledging that that he's like one of the greatest football players of all time. I don't really know much about Tom Brady besides Deflategate jokes and also the the crying Tom Brady meme. That's really, really funny to me. But I thought it was a great game, really entertaining, especially with it going into